Thank you, David. Folks, I want to welcome you to the next presentation of the 61st Annual Fund Convention Educational Series. My name is Randy Campbell, and for the 38th consecutive year, it's my pleasure to be chairman of the Education Committee at Fund, and for the second time in my life, I'm also serving as Fund President. So it's a fun experience for me, and I trust that each and every one of you are having a good time here. We have an amazing array of speakers at this Fund Convention, and the next man in the lineup here for the January 2016 show is well-respected speaker, Mr. Dennis Fortier, or do you prefer Fortier?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, thank you.
Just call me, don't call me late for dinner.
Dennis is the regional program leader for the Liberty Seated Collectors Club and a published expert on this series, the Seated Liberty series. I've been a member of the Seated Liberty Collectors Club for several decades. If any of you are not members, Dennis has information about the Seated Liberty Club right here at the front table. You're welcome to join, and I think you'll find it a very worthwhile experience for you if you're a seated lover, a seated collector. His program today, after exhaustive research, he's going to list issues in the seated series that he believes price-wise are overrated and issues he believes are underrated, or at least might prove to be underrated, and he'll list the reasons why he has come to those conclusions. And I think this is a program, the type of program that a lot of people who collect seated have been waiting to hear for quite some time. Many, many years ago, a gentleman who helped to found the Seated Club, Mr. Cam Awash, and I, we became good friends. And one day I purchased at a coin show in Washington, D.C., an 1864S seated quarter. At that time, we called it very fine, and Cam thought it was a mid-range VF. It might even be considered XF40 today, but it's the only one I've ever owned. When he asked me what I paid for it, he asked me what I paid for it, I said, a double red book. And he said, well, you stole it. So price-wise, there are some coins in the seated series, and Dennis knows them far better than I do, that almost never trade or trade very rarely, and the prices that are listed are only theoretical. Well, he's going to give you a lot of insights as to what these coins are really worth, and will help you enjoy the Seated Liberty series even more than you do now. So without any further ado, it's my extreme pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Dennis Fortier.
Thank you, Randy.
Welcome, Dennis. We're really excited to have you here.
Appreciate it. And thank you all for taking time out of your day to be here. Before I begin, I've given this presentation in various parts of the country, and I've seen people grabbing their notebooks and getting their pens out. Most of the information in this presentation is available online on the Liberty Seated Collectors Club website, lsccweb.org. So you can find the presentation there on the website. So relax, take a breath, enjoy the presentation, okay? Basically, what brought me to producing this two-part article that was in Gobrick Journal's issues 120 and 121 of November 2014 and March of 2015 was, as going through the past issues of the journal, I had seen other authors who had done overrated, underrated on one particular series, and those articles appeared maybe once every 10 years and not even on the same series. So I got the idea that if I got one or two experts from each discipline to give me the information of what they felt was overrated and underrated in the current market, that we could put together an article that encompassed all seven series. And I thought that would be beneficial to the collecting public and to our membership as well. So this is what we came up with, and everybody can have their own favorites and argue about this issue or that issue. But this is just our experts' opinion of what is overrated and underrated in the series. Now, what do we mean overrated and underrated? Basically, that speaks to what that coin or that issue is getting in the current market. Is it too much for the availability? Is it too little for the lack of availability? And that's where the information comes in handy. Now, coins that are overrated, the market is what the market is. There's not much you're going to be able to do with a coin that's overrated. For one example, the 53 arrows and rays $1/2. That's a coin that is targeted by type collectors. It's not going to change. It's overpriced for the availability, and that's the way it's probably going to stay for a considerable future. But the information on underrated coins, coins that are under the radar, can be very useful to collectors who educate themselves and know when they see something rare that they need to make an effort to try and grab it. So, we're going to go through methodically each denomination and talk about what each denomination is as far as overrated and underrated. And as Randy said, I also have brochures that you can sign up and join the club. Membership's $25. Here at the show, we are going to have a club dinner tonight at Hat Tricks Pub. At 7 o'clock, I believe, and our club meeting is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in room 12. So, and everybody's welcome, whether you're a member or not. We're probably one of the most welcoming clubs in the hobby, I'm proud to say. Okay, Liberty Seated half times. Each denomination has its own challenges, and the half times are no exception. The Civil War and post-Civil War years have some very difficult issues to locate. Both from the Philadelphia Mint and as well as some of the San Francisco issues. But the Philadelphia Mint especially is rather difficult in those years to locate. So Steve Crane, Mr. Halftime, helped us out with this portion of the presentation. Okay, we're going to start with overrated. The 1861 over 0 simply does not exist. Steve believes that it's the result of a defective punch, and he really recommends that you not pay a premium for this issue because it's simply a defective punch and nothing more. 1840 no drapery, more available than prices would indicate. The 1844 V3. Now, most of the issues we tried to stay away from certain varieties and die marriages, but some are absolutely necessary, and this is one of them. The Valentine 3 repunch date. Other die marriages are more scarce. The 1854 date overlap space is interesting, but not scarce. And the very popular 1858 over inverted date. It's a favorite of the series. It's scarce, but it is available. This is one of the kind of coins that is typical of what is overrated. It may have a funny name, or it's a really cool variety, but it can be available, and you really shouldn't pay too high a premium to get something like this. Okay. Okay, here's where we get into some of the meat. The underrated coins. The 1839 O, Valentine 1 large O, rarer than current prices indicate, just 2 known in AU. Most of these we try and stay away from certain grade levels, but some of them are grade sensitive as well. The 1848 O, small O, Valentine 4 and 5, excuse me. V4 scarce and the V5 is rare, especially in extra fine and above. The 1858 double date, very few examples known. This one's a sleeper. It's probably a sleeper because the inverted date is much more popular. The 1868 and 69, these two are just as difficult as the well-known 1863 through 1867 Philadelphia dates, as I spoke about earlier. But people don't realize that they're very difficult to find as well. Okay. Liberty Seated Dimes. Jerry Fortin, president of the Liberty Seated Club. Okay. Overrated. 1842 O up to AU is more available and overpriced. The 1844 so-called Orphan Annie coin. good to very fine hoarded and more available than mintages would suggest. It was a low mintage coin. It was recognized rather early on, and therefore they are more available than it would ordinarily be. Here we get into so the meat of what Jerry feels about the grading services. The 1871 CC through the 1874 CC. These are all low mintage, very difficult coins to find. Many of them are problem coins in third-party graded holders, according to Jerry, but they have problems, and those problems may not be noted on these slabs. So the old adage, buy the coin, not the slab, certainly applies here. Okay, this thing's really touchy. Okay, underrated. 1847 in AU or better. It's very challenging. 1851-0 in AU or better. Locating choice, problem-free AUs could take years. And again, we're back to the low mintage CCs, 1871 through 1874. Very few higher grade problem-free coins can be located, especially with CAC approval. So if you find one, you can expect that you're going to have to pay a pretty good premium to get a quality example of these dates. There's another issue that I was made aware of after this article was put together, and that is the 1885S. That one you might want to write down because that is not in the notes. The 1885S dime is extremely difficult to locate, and it's a very, very rare coin. It's a sleeper. If you can find it, grab it. So the 85S dime. Okay, 20-cent pieces by John Frost. Being such a short series, you would think that there wouldn't be anything that's overrated or underrated about it, but the mintage swings are so extreme in this series that it's surprising that if it was a heavier collected series, that everything would probably be almost untouchable at prices that you are currently paying. The 1875 CC in low grades, many examples available at most shows. The CC mint mark is the key to its high cost, not scarcity. The mintage of 133,000 would probably suggest that it's a hard to find coin, but you go to even a small coin show and you'll find a couple of them in various grades at just about any show, especially below fine. They are very available and very pricey. Now these are the real sleepers in this issue. The 1875 Philly and the 1876 Philly. Very low mintages in a series collected mostly by type. Myself, I just upgraded my 75S type coin to a 76, and I'm very glad I did it. It's not often you can get a coin with a mintage of 14,000 for less than 4 figures in XF, and I thought that was a very good value at these current price levels. Okay, Liberty-seated quarters. Liberty-seated quarters are now acknowledged by most Liberty-seated knowledgeable collectors as the most difficult series within the Liberty-seated series. There are many dates that are under 100,000 mintage, under as little as 20,000 mintage. It's an extremely challenging series. Okay. The 1842-0 small date, overrated. Find extra fine examples are more available than expected. The 1854 huge O, several available at most larger shows. This is a very sought after variety. You can see here in the picture how big the O is compared to the overall size of the coin. It's rather popular, but it is more available than you might think. The 1873, no arrows, closed 3, more available than thought. Okay, underrated. The 1840 Nice examples, a good value at current prices. 1843-0, bid to new highs in AU, mid-grade examples unavailable in the market. The 1873 no arrows open 3 sells for less than a closed 3 and much harder to find. One of these was actually just found, it was a recent story I heard about, that it was a metal detector find. So it's got environmental damage, but it's an XF example and supposed to be a very valuable coin even with environmental damage. Liberty Seated Half Dollars by myself and Bill Boogert. Okay, one of my favorites, the 1839 no drapery, half-year type, not rare at all. You see them at just about every show and in all different kinds of grades, and they're very, very pricey and very available. This is driven, of course, by type collectors. The 1842 small date, rare but overrated at current prices. This is one that I questioned Bill about, but you have to go back to what the premise of this article is about, is that what are the current price levels for a given issue, and is it overpriced? With 2 R5 die marriages for the 1842 small date, you would think that the market could dictate anything that it wants and get it, and it pretty much is doing that, but he says that they are available. They're still rare, but they are available, and the prices have outstripped that availability. They really are overrated at the particular moment. The 1846 over horizontal 6, popular. It's a really cool variety, but if you look at the auction catalogs, you'll find 1, 2, 3 examples in just about every auction. 1846 tall date, not rare but getting pricey. This has become basically the poor man's 1846-0 tall date. The 1853, 53-0 with arrows and rays. The 54, 54-0, 55, 55-0 with arrows. Type collectors. None of them are rare. You'll find them in most dealer cases, but they carry a price tag with them because of type collectors. The 1861 Confederate obverse. It's not rare, but it's very popular. This particular variety is only an R3, but for years and years and years, the only way you could be certain of having a coin that was minted by the Confederacy was to get the Confederate die crack. And now, of course, with Randy Wiley's groundbreaking work on the 61-0 issue, now we know that the U.S. issues, WB1, WB2, are the really rare coins, and the Louisiana issues and the Confederate issues, for the most part, are mostly what you're seeing on the floor. And if you, excuse me, those die markers are available online now at the Newman portal that is available from our website. And you can get all that information. I believe that's Gorbeck Journal issue 94. It has all of that information for the 61-0, all the diagnostic markers, date placement, mid-mark placement, and other die markers that identify each die marriage for all 15 die marriages. The 1862 through 64 Civil War dates, they are in very great demand. I talk to a lot of people at when I run club tables, and a lot of half dollars collectors will say, yeah, I'm working on my Civil War dates. When they talk about they're working on their Civil War dates, they basically mean Philadelphia, because that's where the Civil War was held. There are a couple of lower mintage issues, but they are all available. You can find them without too much problem. But they're very, very popular, very much in demand for, I'd say, probably the last 4 or 5 years that's been going on, and it'll probably go on for a while longer. Especially as we have a lot of new collectors coming into the Liberty Seated series. The 1866 no model. With a mintage of 60,000, you'd think that this would be a tough issue to find, but you can find them in all grades. They're available, and they're very, very pricey, much more pricey than their actual rarity would indicate. The 1873 through 1874 with arrows and model, again, type collectors. The 1879 through 1890 ultra-low mintages, higher survival rates than other scarce issues with much higher mintages. These coins were generally minted for collectors, and I have an article right here in issue 123 that talks about this a little bit. The ultra-low mintages are very easy to find in XF and above, especially in mint state. They are available. Extremely pricey, but they are available. And if you had enough money, you could probably go on that bourse floor and probably put together a date set of every one of those. Here's the thing with the ultra-low mintages. Try and find them in low grade. They are simply not available. In my article here in issue 123, I go through each individual date. The most common issue during that period under fine 12 between NGC and PCGS, only 17 coins for any one of these individual dates. 17 coins between both grading services below the grade of fine have been certified. So they're very, very difficult in low grade, and experienced Liberty-seated collectors know this. So you try and find them in low grade, that's where they become very, very scarce. But in XF and above, they're very, almost not common, but they are available. Okay, underrated. Here's where the fun is. 1841, low mintage, gets little notice. It probably is overshadowed by a lot of New Orleans people. A lot of collectors like to collect New Orleans, and 1841-0 is also a very low mintage, and that seems to get a little bit more notice than the 1841P. The 1842-0, medium date, overshadowed by the small date. 1845, quietly under the radar. This is a coin that is very difficult to find problem-free in XF and above. So that's a date you want to watch for. 1847, over 6, one of the great rarities of the series. It is pricey, but still the price levels are lower than what the rarity would otherwise command. Another one, the 1849 dramatic double date. Only 30 examples known. If the series were collected more heavily, prices would be much higher. The 1857-0, 59S, 60S, 66P, and 68P. Modest mintages, but very under the radar, unnoticed, and rather difficult to locate. The 1871 CC, unheralded low mintage Carson City issue. Just within the Carson City $50 10 coin set. The 71 CC has the 5th lowest mintage, so it doesn't get a whole lot of notice. It took me 5 years to find the coin I wanted for my CC set. It's very difficult to find problem-free and with a nice look. The 1872S, it's also a good buy at current price levels. It's a lower mintage coin and doesn't get a whole lot of notice. The 1873 No Arrows Open 3, rare variety of the series, still underpriced. The 73 No Arrows Open 3, 49 Dramatic Double Date, and the 47 over 6. Those are probably the 3 great variety rarities of the series, and all 3 are considered underpriced compared to what their scarcity really is. The 1873S, prices are rising but still underpriced. That's one I recognized quite a few years ago. And the 1874S, prices on the rise but don't wait. If Dick Clark were here and I had to put a bullet by something, the 2 issues I would put a bullet by are the 1868 Philly and the 74S. Those are 2 that the prices are going up very quickly. So those are 2 you don't want to wait on if you can find them, especially XF and above or even VF. They're really good coins to grab a hold of before prices get much higher. The 1875 CC, problem-free high-grade pieces are difficult to find. And the 1878 CC, very underrated at current prices. Problem-free examples are difficult. Okay. Liberty-seated dollars from Dick Osborne's notes. Overrated, the 1858, proof only. Now you would think that a proof-only coin with only 300 for a mintage could not possibly be overrated, but there it is. It's an extremely pricey coin, and it's probably more available than prices would indicate. Not that it's common by any means, but again, the price outstrips its rarity. Okay, underrated. Just about the rest of the series. And while I'm thinking of it, I was having a conversation with a dealer on the floor, and he wanted to add, and I don't argue with him, the 1870 CC as being overrated. If anybody wants to get a CC, the 70 CC is the most common of the CCs in the dollars, and because of that, there's a lot of pressure on pricing because there's a lot of demand for it. So some could say that it is overrated compared to availability, but wherever there's demand, the prices will go up. So again, you can get this entire presentation on our website at lsccweb.org. So okay, trade dollars, Joe Kirschgessner. Now we're going to get into a little bit more here on varieties because the trade dollar series was rather short, and that's a series that is quickly going into varieties. And Joe set this, he said, at level 2 out of 3 levels. So the 1875 CC Type 1, Type 2, Type 1, Type 2 reverse, available in lower grades, rare and mid-state. And for those of you that don't know, the Type 1 obverse Liberty is holding the olive branch with 3 fingers. The Type 2 obverse, Liberty is using 4 fingers. The Type 1 reverse, I'm trying to remember now, the berry is under the eagle's claw, and the Type 2 reverse, there's no berry under the eagle's claw, if I'm correct on that. I'm not a trade dollar guy. I believe that's what it is. If anybody knows, please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, the 1875 S over CC, FS 501, rare but nice coins available, always seem to be available in the market. The 1876 CC double die reverse, always available. 1877 double die obverse, tough but still overrated. 77 CC available in all grades. The 1870S double die reverse, FS 802, available but tough in mint state. There's a couple of these FS numbers that you're going to find, that the 501, you'll find the 502 in the underrated, and the 802, you'll find the 801 in the underrated. So you have to be careful about which variety you're talking about. The 1878S double die reverse, available in circulated grades, tough in mint state. Underrated. The 1873 CC XF and better, tough to locate. The 1875 Type 1 obverse reverse, very difficult in all grades. The 1875 S over CC FS 502, few high grade examples known. The 1876 Type 2, difficult in all grades. The 1876 CC, Type 1, tough in all grades. 1876S, Type 2. Excuse me. Wish I had gotten some water. Double die obverse, rarest of all varieties, still underrated. The 1878S, double die reverse, FS 801, extremely challenging in all grades with no mint state examples known. And the 1878 CC is the series key, and it's always tough, especially in low grade. I know that because John Frost has a beautiful AG3 that he's very proud of. Okay. All right, I want to say thank you to all the Liberty-seated experts that helped make this presentation possible. I appreciate your presence here today and your kind attention. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Where would you put the 1873 CC no arrows?
The 1873 no arrows is a little bit rarer than the with arrows. And,
That's my experience.
Yeah, and then most experts would agree with that. In Bill Boogert's Carson City book, volume 2, I believe it is, he has a scale that shows what he believes are the survivorship of all the Carson City half-dollar issues. So if you don't have that book, you might want to talk to either Brian Cushing or Dick Osborne of Dick Osborne Rare Coins, or Rich Urich. They sometimes have his books, and they can help you out with that. Yes, sir.
I was surprised not to see the 1852 half dollar up there.
Again, the premise is what's overrated or underrated at current prices, and we believe that the 51 and the 52Ps are priced about where they should be for the rarity.
So they're tough, but just hard to find.
That's it. They're very tough, and yeah, and you're going to pay. Throw away gray sheet, trends, all that stuff when you find a nice one. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What about approved trade dollars before 1883?
The proof trade dollars, we really didn't get into the proofs in this article. That's probably something that would be a good article to put together on proofs. This was mostly business issues. So, yeah. Anything else?
How about the 55S half dollar?
55S is a well-recognized rarity of the series, and even for a low-grade coin, you're going to pay $350 and on up if you can find them. That's another coin to find problem-free and low-grade. There's maybe 5 of them graded by PCGS below VG. That's a real tough coin in a low grade. Yeah. Higher grades, obviously, the prices climb very quickly. It's a coin that's very much in demand and has been long recognized as a rarity of the series. So some of the others that are kind of, the 59S was on the list as being underrated. The 60S, I believe, was also on there. Those are 2 that are good to pick up because price-wise, they're very tough coins to find problem-free, XF and above. Yeah. Anyone else? All right, well, I thank you for coming, and